Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I am back with another video. This video is super special because it is to celebrate Honeybee Stamps hitting 10,000 followers on YouTube. So I'm using some new stamps and stencils and dies from their latest release. I am using the Flippin' Fabulous stamp set, the Tropical Leaves stencil, the Sandy Shores background stamp, and then the Makin' Waves long borders. And these are extra long and they fit slimline cards. So I'm actually going to use it to trace my masking paper so that I can make a scene card, because it's been a minute since I've made a scene card. As far as the celebration goes, I just want to quickly mention that there is a coupon code in the description below for 10% off of your Honeybee Stamps orders, so take advantage of that. That's good August 8th through the 13th, and then they're also generously giving away a $100 gift card to the store. So make sure you're leaving love as you're going through on this little video hop with tons of inspiration from just super talented people. Love the Honeybee team. They're all very, very talented. So here I'm just tracing it. Honestly, the pen that I grabbed was in fact a Honeybee Stamps pen, but it wasn't on purpose. It was just the one that was closest by. And then I'm just going to trim this out and lay it down. So here, this is how long it's been since I made a scene card. I'm totally getting ahead of myself. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do the background, do the waves, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not, because I need to do my stamping first. In order to make a one layer card, like you gotta do the stamping first, Kelly. Like, what are you doing? So I'm going to use this Hero Arts intensified black ink, and this is Copic safe because I am going to be doing some Copic coloring. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp down these adorable little flip-flops. There's tons of like cute little seashells and stuff in this set as well, and I love the sentiments. I always do. Honeybee comes up with the best sentiments. But here I just thought it would be super cute to do like a, kind of left your flip-flops by the waterfront, because I do that all the time when I'm at the beach. Like, I just leave my flip-flops there and, run off into the water, or I like to walk the beach. Gets me sunned in the front and sunned in the back, and I get some exercise. I get to look at all the houses. Like, I just super enjoy that. So I stamp my mask, I trim those out. I'm going to put those in place, and then I'm just going to stamp a couple of extra shells just to kind of fill out my scene. You could totally just do a whole card with just the shells and it would be super pretty. Quite some time ago, I've cross-stitched for years, and it's kind of like waxed and waned whether or not I was currently cross-stitching. I've done it since I was 15. And usually I would just make them, like I made one for my grandmother, I made one for my sister, other family members or close friends. I've never actually made one and kept it for myself. But I did one for Nathan's grandmother that was seashells for her bathroom, and that one I think it was kind of a smaller one, but it was super pretty, like light beiges and corals and peaches, and it was just really pretty. Anywho, so now that I have all my stamping, masking done, I'm going to use this wave mask, and you want to keep both pieces that you cut out. For the water, I'm using Salty Ocean, Mermaid Lagoon, Blueprint Sketch, and Chip Sapphire, because as I'm sure that you well know, the water, the deeper it is, the darker it gets. So I do want it to get darker toward the top, where it would be lighter, where the water's kind of crashing on the shore, and then darker towards the back. And then the reverse side of it, and I apologize because I did not show you the colors that I was using. I guess I was just in the groove of things. I used antique linen, brushed corduroy. Brushed corduroy is like my go-to wet sand color, 100%. And then gathered twigs. So that'll be the one I use on the other side, because even though you'll see it, I don't necessarily know if I left a lid in there for you to see it. So my apologies. So I was a little bit sidetracked while I was making this card, because Eric was very nicely sitting in here with me and chatting, and we were talking about some things for the wedding. Several of you have asked if the wedding is still on because of Corona. The wedding is still on. We're about 30 days out. We just got our marriage license because they do expire. They expire if you don't use them. Who knew? So you can only get it 60 days beforehand. So we just got ours. And there's just some, last minute things that we have to get done. And one of them is filling out the paperwork for the DJ. And so we're trying to find our songs for the certain things that we're doing. And one of them that we were trying to find was the song for the garter toss. And I told him, I was like, that's like I picked the song for the bouquet toss, you picked the song for the garter toss, like that's up to you. And so he didn't have anything kind of like off the cuff he wanted to go with. So he found a playlist on YouTube, and it was just all kinds of like Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye to A Little Less Conversation by Elvis to Tupac to what was the what is it it's Georgia something, isn't it? The Georgia Satellites, that's what it is. Don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. So there's just all kinds of, and we could not settle on one that we were going to go with. Here, just a quick note, one of my masks was coming up. I just happened to catch it a couple of times with my ink blender, and that's one of the things that I love about the Tombow Mono multi-glue, that if you let it dry, it is repositionable. So I just put a very small dot on the end of it. I tapped it a few times with my finger, and once it was dry, I went ahead and put it back down, and then that will hold my mask in place. I won't have to worry about it peeling up again, and I also don't have to worry about it damaging my card. Just if you use that trick, make sure that you wait for the glue to be completely dry, because if you put it down when it's wet, it's permanent, and then it will rip your paper. So yeah, we were doing that and talking about songs. We have picked no songs at this point, guys, just none. We don't even know what we're going to dance to for our first dance yet. We have like kind of a playlist of songs that are like special to us, but we have not narrowed it down as to what is going to be the song. So if you are comfortable sharing, I would love to know what your wedding song was. What was your first dance to? We recently went to a friend of his wedding. It was strange. I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't. Like they tried to do everything that they could. People wore masks. There was, social distancing. She actually changed her venue. This poor girl has been planning her wedding for 2 years, and she ended up changing her venue so that it would be an outdoor venue so everybody would be more comfortable. And then it poured buckets. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was like pouring all day, on and off all day. I think she did get some good pictures, so good for her. Back to the card for a second. So here, this is the Sandy Shores background, which you could use for a ton of stuff, but it makes the best sand background. I mean, the best sand background. I normally do it with my Copic markers, but this is just so much easier. This is going to be one that I use all the time. So first what I did was I went in with the brushed corduroy, and then I just kind of added little bits here and there of the gathered twigs and antique linen to kind of break it up, and then tapped very gently again with my brushed corduroy just to kind of blend everything in. The easiest way to use background stamps for me is to just flip them upside down. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm just going to use a piece of scrap paper, hold it in place with one hand and rub with the other. Until like I'm good, I'm covered. And look at how cute that is. Just look at how cute. It's so cute. It's like the best sand background. Here, I thought that this would be kind of fun is to do like shadows, like the palm shadows on the ground. And I decided to I could have gone with black or, a dark gray, but I decided to go with brown because I already kind of had that vibe going on with the sand and everything. So I used the gathered twigs to do it. And then you'll see that eventually I'm going to take the masks off. I wanted the shadow to be darker where the sand was. That's why I did them first. and then I'll take the masks off and go over it again, just so the shadow's a little bit lighter on the images. I just didn't want them to be totally overwhelmed. I mean, they are still on top of it because the shadows would still be on the flip-flops, would still be on the shelves, but I didn't want it to be so dark. So I just thought that was a little something fun to add. It might give you an idea for something, with a card. So anyway, yeah. So she had two people, and they ended up, because it was pouring buckets, they ended up having to have tables on the inside instead of out where the grass was, which is was down this walkway to where basically the whole part of the wedding was going on. That's where the dance floor was. That's where the DJ was. That's where the cake cutting, speeches, all that stuff. So those of us who were in the building, because of the rain, had to walk down and just kind of stand there and listen to it, which was, it was fine. You could just tell, she was so nervous, and it was a very nice reception. It was just strange because we know what we know, and that's not mask, that's not social distancing, that's not all of those things, and that's just what we're living in. So I am nervous for our wedding. I'm nervous they're going to shut Ohio down before we have the opportunity to have this wedding and this reception. But if that happens, we are still getting married on September 5th. If they end up shutting Ohio down, we will get married in a very small ceremony with our immediate family. And then, it'll just be what it is. That's just where we're at. So, yeah, that's that. I would love to know what your wedding song is. We have a couple that we're throwing around. There's some, I think, that are just kind of classic gimmies, or for the bouquet toss, he was like, what do you want? And I was like, Single Ladies by Beyonce. It totally makes sense. It fits the bill, right? But there's other ones that I don't like. What song I'm going to dance to my dad with, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. Because there's good songs. There's so many good songs for that. But I just haven't, I guess, committed to one. And Eric is letting his mom pick out the song that they dance to. So she is still working on that as well. Back to the card. So here, all of the, the background, distress inking is done, and we're going to move on to the copic coloring. I did kind of struggle with how to color these flip-flops. Not so much how to color them, the color I wanted to color them, I guess. And ultimately, I ended up going with orange because I thought that it would be super complementary to the blue water, and orange also works well with brown. I toyed around with doing hot pink. I also think that would have worked well, but ultimately, I don't really use a lot of yellow and orange in my card making, and so kind of trying to mix it up, I decided I would go with that. I didn't really know what color I wanted to do the bottoms. If I was going to do them the same color or not, because the flip-flops that I wear are totally boring. They aren't bedazzled or jewels on them or anything. I just wear plain black Old Navy flip-flops that cost me $2.99, and then I wear them until they fall apart, which usually takes quite a few years. I have a black pair, and I have a gold pair. If I'm feeling fancy, wear my gold flip-flops. But in the summer, typically that's what I'm wearing. You can find me in a pair of flip-flops. And spring is probably my favorite season because I love the blooming and the newness coming out of winter. All the things that are growing, I super love that. But then summer is a close second because I love the warm weather, and I don't like being cold. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Where Eric totally loves winter, and no thank you. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm cool with winter until Christmas comes and goes. After Christmas comes and goes, I'm over it. I'm ready for spring anytime. So while I was doing the coloring of the flip-flops, because I did the shadows of the palm fronds, I also wanted to do the shadows of the straps for the flip-flops. And I didn't love the way they came out, and it might be because I did them in the dark orange color, but it is what it is, and I have accepted it. So while I was doing this, and Eric and I are listening to music and trying to come up with songs and having discussion, one of the things that happens is I forgot to press the record button. This is no joke. This really happened to me. And honestly, it's not the first time it's ever happened to me. I'm not going to lie. And typically I have to start over. But I didn't realize it happened to me until I was all the way done editing my video. Like, I got to the end of the video and I was like, but where is the part where I do the thing that's the whole point of the video? Where's that part? Where's the part that's the whole point? And it's not there. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back through my old videos and I'm going to find one where I did the same exact technique, and I'm just going to explain to you lovely viewers why I had to plug in this old footage. And so I started looking, and I could not find any footage of me doing this particular beach technique, which means it's been way too long since I've done it. I mean, that's fact. And so then I went to my YouTube channel and was like looking back through the videos, and I was like, where did I use this last? And it was like almost 2 years ago. Like, honestly, almost 2 years ago that I used it in a video. How can that even be? Because I love this technique and I felt like I did it all the time, but apparently I was not doing it all the time. So because I love y'all so much, what I ended up doing was I garbage picked my own trash can. I garbage picked my own trash can to get my masks up out of the garbage. And then I distressed inked a completely different background, like still the same way. But then I reshot the entire part of that. So it is not the card that I'm working on now because that was already done and completed, but it is basically the same background so that I could show you the technique. And then I'll just have this pretty beach background that is done if I need a beach card for something. I don't know what I'll need a beach card for. Maybe someone I know will have a beach wedding or a beach something. I don't really know. Maybe I'll just mail somebody a beach because I love beaches and they make people happy. So maybe I'll do that. But yeah, so after the coloring, you're going to see like one of these things is not like the other. Speaking of garbage picking, I actually went garbage picking for the first time in my life the other day. Eric is all about my, me and my so many DIYs. And I do have a lot of DIYs going on right now. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. I'm aware, but I'm hustling through them. I'm trying very hard to get through them in a quick manner. So at this point we haven't really made any progress with the buffet. The buffet is stained on top, the feet are stained, the drawers or the shelves are in, thanks to Eric. He cut them for me and glued them in, clamped them overnight, and then I wood fillered the edge of them so that they would be flush with the piece that was already in there. And then that's pretty much all we've done with it. The hutch, on the other hand, is completely painted with 2 coats. He did an amazing job. It looks so good. I love it so much. And then the background of it, we pulled the backing off of the hutch. We painted that white with white chalk paint. And then I went to go buy more white chalk paint, and there was like none anywhere ever. Apparently during Corona, everybody is at home painting all the things with white chalk paint. I went to like 2 or 3 different stores and nobody had white chalk paint. But anywho, I guess I'll just have to order it online. Thank you, Amazon, for delivering all the things. So I have been doing all these DIYs, and we did the painted the background white, and then I used like the frog tape, the painter's tape, to mask off stripes, and then I painted them. You know what I painted them. I painted them rainbow. Yes, I did. So my black hutch will have a background that is white and rainbow stripes, and I am like over the moon about it. I did have to do a couple of coats of the rainbow paint, probably because I was using acrylic, but that's what I had. I wasn't going to go buy like quarts of all of these different colors of paint. I'm using acrylic. It'll survive. Once I put a top coat on it, I'm sure it'll be super good. So I did that, and then now he just has to put that back on there, and then we got to figure out a way to hang it because this thing is heavy. It's so heavy. Okay, so, oh no, we're going to put in the shadows. So because, it's like right up by the water's edge and things are going to be damp, I did do some shadows underneath the shells also to ground them, and then some shadows underneath the flip-flops because I feel like if you walked right up to the water's edge, like they would be sinking in, and so there would be shadows there. So those are my 2 projects. In the meantime, our school has announced that they will be doing online learning for the first, I believe it's the first 5 weeks of school. Hallelujah, praise Jesus. I am very nervous for people who don't have childcare, but I am also very grateful that I don't have to send my son to school. And I'm grateful that we are in a position where we can be home and help him with his schooling. But so with that, I wanted to give him a designated work area so he knows, like, he gets up in the morning, this is where he sits, this is where we do our schoolwork. Here's where we're gonna, I think, oh no, I'm just filling in the little blue line, and then I think we're gonna, one of these things is, yep, here we go. Here's another thing you get to see that you've never seen before, and this is the first time it's ever been on camera. Those are naked nails. I have no color on my nails. Why do I have no color on my nails? Because while I was editing my video, I was also removing my nail polish so that I could repaint them because my nail polish got all jacked up while I was doing the acrylic paint. But nonetheless, let's talk about this technique because that's the whole reason why I reshot this thing. You're welcome. Seriously though, you're welcome. So here I have white acrylic paint. I have the glossy. They also have it in matte. I don't think it matters which one you use. The best part of, I guess the best advice I could give you is get a stiff bristle brush. This bristle brush is from a super cheap set that I bought my son. And it works great. So it's like stiff, pointy little bristles, but it works really well. I do 2 different kinds of coats with the white paint, with the dabbing. The first one I do, I mix with a little bit of water so that it's a little bit more transparent. And then after I do that, I go in with the full strength paint so that it is more solid and more opaque. Don't tell me I'm not saying it right. I am. I promise you. I'm trying. So anyway, the last thing that I do, and be careful with the water because we're not working on watercolor paper. This is just regular cardstock. The last thing I do is go in with my Winkostella in white because it is glitter, but it dries white. And so I add just a little bit of glitter in there. You could also use stickles. You could dot some stickles in there, or you could use the clear glitter. That would work as well. But this technique works amazing for like those beach cards and like the ocean crashing up on the sand. And you could make as much or as little of this as you wanted to. There's me checking out my nails with no nail polish on them. Just out there in the world. Yes, they are. And then here is the card, and you can see how I did the same technique on the card, even though I did not record it. My bad. So now on to the heat embossing. That's what I did. So the garbage picking. I'm also making a palette sign for our wedding. And that's something else that I'm working on. But went to go pick up Nathan from my mom's house the other day because she had watched him for me. And her neighbor had a palette out in his trash. And I was like, hey, I'm about to go ask your neighbor if I can have this palette. And my sister was like, I'm pretty sure if it's in the trash, you could just take it, Kelly. And I was like, but I feel like that shouldn't do that. And she was like, no, it's fine. So we went over there and garbage picked this palette, which is in excellent condition. And I'm super excited to have the wood for it. But then Eric was like, what are we doing with this palette? What are we doing with this one besides storing it and taking up room in the garage? And I was like, I don't know yet, but I'll have a plan. Don't you worry. So anyway, I heat embossed the sentiments and then did my labels per usual, popped them up on some foam. And then I'm just kind of playing around with the placement here. I do eventually move them a little bit closer because I like a tight design. If you watch my channel, you know that. And then that's pretty much it. I did put clear Wink of Stella on the flip-flops and the shells, but that part got also not recorded. So this is it. This is the whole card. Don't forget to hop to the next person in the video and to make use of that 10% off code. Leave some love so you're in the running for that $100 gift card. And thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.